and welcome to yet another sketchbook tour. This sketchbook is from the art store Bösner, like just a home brand, and it was actually quite cheap, and I was surprised at how well the paper is and how much I like having watercolor paper in a sketchbook. Yeah. This was the first page. As you see, I started the sketchbook on March 20th and finished it on June 9th. Yeah, and here is just a tulip that I painted in gouache. Actually, this flower was given to me by my yoga teacher, and I think it's just a really nice opening for the sketchbook. Yes, and as I mentioned, this paper, I don't know if you can see it, but it does have a little bit of structure, and it is quite thick, which I liked. This is just like my extremely low effort sketching style that you've seen in my other sketchbooks. I just take the Faber-Castell brush pens and just doodle, and it's very low pressure, but I still think I learn a lot. So we have just insects here, except of course the snail, which isn't an insect. And yeah, here we have already one of my favorite pages in the whole sketchbook. And it's a style that I really am starting to love. Just like this realistic but still sketchy, and with just graphite. I have learned to use a harder pencil, so it doesn't smudge quite as much. I still spray it with fixative when I work in my sketchbook with graphite, but it doesn't smudge quite as much as like an 8B pencil would. Yeah, so I use a 4H, which is quite hard, but I still like the look of it. And this is just some nature stuff, as you can see. This is watercolor with color pencils on top. I should really practice my landscapes. This is another one of those messy, sketchy pages. These are skeletons. Not correct skeletons. As you can see, this cat is like twice as long as it should be. But it was a fun exercise, and like complete skeletons are incredibly hard, so I like to take it easy when I first try them and just do it low pressure. This page, this spread, this took me so long. I think I worked on this like 4 days on and off, but these are the both of the Inspector Barnabys from Midsummer Murders, which is just a show that my family and I watch every single week, I think since about 5 or 6 years. And so we have Tom Barnaby and John Barnaby. And I actually also really love this style with like the shading that I did there. Yeah, I'm quite proud of these two. Here we have some extremely wobbly hands, and I think like, it looks fun as a spread, but if you look at the individual hands, it's just awful, but I had fun doing it, so that's all that matters. Here we have some flowers from our garden that were blooming in the spring. This is another spread that took me way too long, but it doesn't matter because I had fun. And here, as you can see, I just wrote the names, how I call them in Swiss German. For example, like a dandelion is Säublume, which means like a pig flower. I don't know, I think it was a cute concept. Here are some fish that I saw at the aquarium. And this one was really impressive. It was like 2 meters long. Yeah, and I did this just with ink and then a wash of ink. Can you guess what this is? this is actually a song. It's Winter by Vivaldi, which is one of the most incredible pieces of music ever written, in my opinion. And so I created just a background in watercolor, and then I started up here and I listened to the songs, and I went like while it was playing. Yeah, it was a fun exercise. It's a little bit random, but it's fun. Here are some, this is a really empty spread, but these are just some pictures from Pinterest. You have a sheep, a snake in a sweater, and a guy with a chicken on his head. Yeah. Another thing that I desperately need to practice is anatomy, like the human anatomy, unfortunately. So I tried it on a smaller scale first. Yeah. And then it was my birthday, and my birthday wish was to go to a museum. With my parents, and these are just some things that I saw. Like these are all the extinct thing. Okay, no, this is a beaver skull, but these are from extinct animals, and these are from like the history department, which didn't really turn out great, and which is honestly not something that I am that much interested in. So maybe it was because of that. But actually, I really love this spread. This is from the archaeology department, so we have like arrowheads and what do you call them, flintstones, and all of the small things that they dug up, and these were drawn on site at the museum, which I'm quite proud of because it's hard for me to sketch while other people are around. Yeah, and this one is the skull from a caveman, I guess, and I didn't draw this on site, I drew this at home, but I think it's a really cool style, and I'm proud of that. These weren't drawn on site either, but these were like the taxidermied animals from the museum, again done with the brush pens, just really simple and quick. This is actually a page I shouldn't be showing, and I just want to declare this is not my art. I have written the Instagram handles of the people that I literally stole this art from, but I put these in my sketchbook because I wanted a reminder of, I don't know, like styles. These are all people whose style I really admire, who have a really recognizable style, and I don't have that yet, especially with like people, but I wish I had it. And so I just wanted to quickly see what those artists do to make their characters look unique. So we have Blackbean_CMS, he is incredible. Drawing with Waffles is obviously, she's a classic, you have to know her. Aida.art, this is very sweet, and this isn't actually like a person, a character, this is a cow. It's by Ferdi Gertsch, who is a local artist. Yeah, so this is not my art. But this is, again, these are more skulls, animal skulls. I think at this time I haven't had any or not much free time to paint oil paintings of animal skulls. It's a series that I have started where I just paint animal skulls. And I don't take a lot of time, but like getting all of my painting supplies out and really finding the time can be hard. So I just drew some skulls that I want to paint in the future, especially this hammerhead bat looks very cool to me. This page makes me so sad. No, not really, but I had this idea in my head of like paint blobs, and then I would define them a little bit so you could see that there are cats. And it's one of those examples where the idea is just better than the executions, because I don't draw cats very well yet. and I think it's just not cute. So yeah, let's go on. These are 2 portraits. I don't know what to say about them. They're just 2 portraits. I do like that I drew them with the lighter color and then just defined them with a black brush pen. I think it's a fun look. And another one of the spreads that took me way too long. These are just some nature things, bugs and snails and all that good stuff. And these were once again done with, I lined them with ink and then did ink washes over them. And I think that's one of the reasons that these pages take me so long, because I take my fountain pen and I wet the brush and I take ink from the nib. It takes me a really long time, and I bet there would be a better way to do it, but I haven't found it yet. Yeah, it's a cute spread. Some more sketchy animals. This time it's birds, and I think he looks really silly. I like him. This I finally found, like an old army bag. Like, I do have old army bags already, but this one is like a special one, like a medicine bag or a Swiss medic bag, something like that. And you can actually open these buttons on the side, like take it apart, so you have much more room for art supplies, which is what I bought it for. If you know, what is his name? I follow an artist, I think his name is Scott Christian Sava, I'm not sure, but he is an incredible artist, and he has one of those bags. And ever since I found his account, I was looking for a bag like this, and these are just the things that I want to put in it. I actually haven't found the time yet to go on a proper expedition with the bag yet, but that will soon come. This is one of those pages where it looked much better in my head, and I think if I would have put a little bit more effort into it, especially with like the background, it would look much better, but I didn't have the energy anymore, so that's that. This page is what re-sparked my obsession with lino prints. This is the first sketch that I did, and then this is the print that came out of it. This is a Colorado potato beetle. It's almost a tongue twister. Yeah, and I really love it. I have been doing a lot of other lino prints since this one, and yeah, I love it. It's a wonderful medium. And this is just a plant that I wanted to turn into a print as well, but I haven't done it yet. These are all the wonderful things that I found at the Fantasy Basel, which is almost like a Comic-Con here in Switzerland, but you can also find like oddities from all the medieval markets. Yes, and these are the things that I got. I got a couple of teeth, vertebra. This one is really exciting. This is a trilobite, like one of those extinct fossil things. So these are like smaller things I found. And I caved and I actually bought myself a real cat skull. And I know this is maybe controversial, I'm not sure. It was 100% ethically sourced and everything. And I do want like my oddities collection to be mostly things that I find myself, and obviously things that I find that are already dead and not specifically killed or anything like that. But I know that would not be possible to do with a cat skull, because I have such a special relationship with cats that I could not handle even the thought of a dead cat if I don't have like the finished clean skull in front of me. I'm not sure, it's weird, but I really like it, and I have a lot of paintings planned with it, and it's a very special piece of my collection, and I treasure it a lot. These are some mushrooms with color pencils. Oh, and this is, I think this, I should also clarify that this isn't really my art again, or it was inspired by another artist, Tim Ulrichs, which is a German artist, made this exhibition or this art piece based on the saying a wolf in a sheep's coat, and the other way around, where he like actually stuffed a sheep but made it like in the shape of a wolf, and then the other way around, like this is the pelt of a wolf but in a sheep shape. Look it up online. It's a really powerful piece, I think, or it's one of those art pieces that really stood out to me, and so I wanted to capture that in my sketchbook, especially because I find it very interesting how just the shape of an animal can tell you so much about what animal it is, because obviously that from the outside it should look like a sheep. It has like the wool and it's white and fluffy and everything, but it's so obvious that it's like a wolf or something, like a canine or yes. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I really like this art piece. I think I could talk about it much longer. This is an ugly spread, but of a very wonderful day. I was sitting outside, enjoying the sun and eating passion fruit, and I don't know how other artists manage to do it, to get like perfectly mixed media spread, mixed with realism and like scribbles. I don't know how they do it, but it was sweet, and my boyfriend joined me and we talked, and passion fruit is delicious, so yeah. These are some more wobbly sketches. Some of these pages turn out better than others. I don't like this one as much, but again, it's actually good practice. And this is, I think this is, no, I have other favorites, but this is definitely one of my favorite spreads in the sketchbook. I ask my followers on Instagram to suggest things to sketch, and I don't know, but they all just suggested animals, which I'm not complaining. And I started with the panda, and this is like a style, like the style just with graphite that I haven't explored much yet. Plus, I've never really drawn animals like either without any guidelines, like I do with my pet portraits, like my commissioned pet portraits. I use guidelines there, or just like in this style with just zero pressure and that they don't look good at all. But I was actually surprised that they turned out this well. So I guess you can see how ugly practice leads to you actually being able to draw the things that you couldn't draw before, if you know what I mean. I don't know, but it's a cute page, and I especially like this little angry penguin. He's like, "Wah!" Yeah. Yeah, and then again, a really ugly page. It was, at first, it was supposed to be like a practice piece for watercolor, because I'm really impatient with watercolors, and I think this page shows it well, because as you can see, I actually gave up on watercolors like the third, like after the third layer, and so I just went over it with color pencils, and in my head it was looking so realistic and perfect. If you can't tell, this is supposed to be a turtle's shell, and this was, I think, like fish scales. Yeah, I hate it. Let's move on. Yeah, and this is actually the very last spread, and this is another one of those very quick practice spreads, and I divided the page into these little squares or rectangles, and I just very sloppily sketched corners of my room. So these are actually my feet, and this is my boyfriend's foot. He was on the way. Yeah, but these are just corners of my room, and I think it was a very fun exercise because I really struggle with backgrounds. And yeah, this is just a swatch page that I always have in my sketchbooks, and that was it. I've started a new sketchbook a couple of weeks ago, and I am looking forward to showing you that one. And I hope you enjoyed this little tour through my sketchbook and therefore through my brain, I guess. Yeah, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Bye!